try and just give ourselves a moment just to think of a issue which perhaps you want to deal with on a long-term basis. So just quiet for about a minute or so, and then we'll move on to the next one. Has everyone got an idea of what they want to focus on?
Does anybody want to share their idea?
Yeah, you can do that as well if you want.
Anybody want to share their idea?
Money.
Okay.
Yep, I would second that. Lack of it.
Lack of it.
Okay.
Anybody else want to share an idea?
I suppose more about being more effective in the things that I'm trying to achieve.
Sure.
Management.
Management. Anybody else?
I've got thoughts on communicating with somebody. yeah, you laugh.
No, I hear
You know
that.
where
I hear that, yeah.
Okay. I think I think we all have an idea of what we want to focus on. So the next thing is to think about how that makes you feel and how you want to feel about it.
Or how does it feel not having it, and how it feels having it? Is that what you mean? Or how
It depends
does
on
it
what
feel?
the issue is.
How
I
does
think
it, no,
really
what I mean by it, how
open
does it
about
feel
that,
like
because
if you have that conversation with a person who went smoothly, or if it didn't go smoothly? It's like a negative and positive.
how this issue makes you feel.
Okay, how it resonates in
Yes.
you. Okay.
So we're dealing with the feeling side of
Okay.
things now, and how you want to feel about the situation or the issue. Yeah,
So can I give an example, like lack of money for me, lack of freedom?
right.
Could be something like that.
Yeah,
Lack of movement.
so if we could just a brief moment just to think about that. Obviously the real work is not done here. It's going to be done if you want, in your own space and in your own time, and as long as you want, essentially. And then moving on to the south, it's thoughts. So, I mean, this is a very limited, kind of like introduction to this. I mean, using tools like drawing or writing. I mean, usually I'll take people off on a guided meditation to the woods and the fairies, literally, and get you to come back with a gift. And get you to either draw or write about it. And that's very cathartic. And it allows you to go into your own space, and it doesn't matter what it looks like, what colors you use, what you write. It's when you reflect upon that, you're actually speaking to yourself, and something actually comes out of that. And then you can actually, it allows you to do what's called, sky blue thinking. The other thing as well is to trust what actually comes into your mind. You have to trust yourself. You have the answers yourself. That's the whole point of this. You will find that you will give yourself really pertinent answers, but do you trust the answers you're giving yourself? You might think it's just your imagination, but if you go with that and you trust what you've given yourself, you might find that the results that you produce in your own life are surprising and move you in the direction that you want to go in. You may not get there in one step, it might take several steps, but eventually you will get there because you have the answers yourself. That's what this is all about.
George, could I ask you, do people feel do people trust their intuitions? Do they trust themselves at that level? Just put it out there. Do you trust yourself at that level?
Because it's difficult to know what's an intuition and what is,
Exactly.
let's say, an addiction or some other kind of
I don't know.
negative self-talk. There's all kinds of things.
Well, you know what negative self-thought is, but do you trust?
Do you at every time?
Yeah.
I think we all know intuitively.
Yeah.
That's the word, what to do, but I think it's when we go against it that for me, that's been the pattern in my life. the light bulb goes on and said, do this. But fear stops me from doing what I should be doing. And afterwards I reflect and I think, well, but you told yourself, your instinct told you what to do, but because of constraint, society, whatever, how I feel about a certain situation, and fear stopped me from doing it. That's been my pattern. So it's what I need to get over is the fear.
What is the fear?
I think it's where you're conditioned. He just spoke about, like having a ceiling about how much money you're worth, etc., etc. Not talking about money when you go into a room to deal with somebody and having the strength to say, well, actually, this is what's on the counter. So we kind of shy away from certain issues. So, like you say, you meandered for 2 hours. Why did you do that? Do you know what I mean? Because it's the fear that stops you saying, well, look, more on this from the start. That's to me, that's a strength. Because then the person knows exactly what they're getting, and they take it or leave it, and it gives you, as you said, you're not wasting time. But what we do is, well, I can't speak for it, but what I do is I meander around things because I'm afraid to go out and get what I want.
Is it, sorry, just is it the fear of no? Taking low a lot longer to come out because you're expecting the fact that it's going to be a no.
Now talking about myself, is not the no. Is, for instance, I know what I can do and what I can't do, because the other day I was talking to an American, I don't know what it was, agent on was on Broadway or something like that, and I was like, he was speaking, and I said, nah, musicals is not for me. I never done any music, and I don't like the musicals. And he was, what? For me, an actor has to do everything, musicals and serious stuff, and nah, musicals is not for me. And he was like, what the hell? Who do you think you are? Go for everything, man. You want to achieve something, good for everything. And I was like, nah, for me now. I don't like musicals.
But that is something I've noticed between when it comes to the arts, or actually Americanisms. I call them American because they're very much about get up and go.
Do everything.
Whereas I think here in this part of the world, it's very much let's sit back and see what's going to happen. And that's what I'm wondering. How do you, as I said, the Jews, how do you overcome this kind of procrastinate? It's like I was talking to you the other day, and this guy came along, a DJ thing, and I said to you, okay, I'm going to give you 20% of whatever the money I get. And you go, no, I'll take 15. I'm like, I'm offering you 20 and you want to take 15. Doesn't make sense. I'm offering you 20 and you want to take 15. I should have offered you 15 and then you would take 10. Do you know what I mean? It's that's what it is, and that relationship with success or progression or whatever you choose. And as you said, that fear, you know intuitively what you want to do, but it takes so long to get around. By the time you get around, somebody's already taken it and gone. And that's what it's just trying to break that pattern that exists in our life financially, or also in argumentative way, or in other negotiation you need to do in your life. It's just knowing your, sorry.
I think sometimes there's a bigger fear overriding us in what we may lose, or we may not achieve, as opposed to what we may gain. And studies have shown if something's on the table and you say, yes, you get 20% if you do this, we can take that now. More people are likely to take it now, rather than to commit and get more, like get 20% more.
Yeah, we did the children thing.
Yeah.
We did the children with the sweets.
Yeah. So sometimes there's a fear of achieving, and like you said, the answers are within you. Do you believe in yourself?
Yeah.
Enough?
Well, a key thing is trust. In the world of doing like anything spiritual, whether it's healing, mediumship, or what have you, you have to trust what's actually coming through. How can you trust that? You need to practice. And one of the things that I do, which I can't do here, is that when I take people on the guided meditation and we go through this, I often get them to work in pairs. And sometimes they've never done it before, but when they let go and they start to actually help one another and look at each other's work, what actually comes through surprises them. That's when you can actually start to learn. I would say the best thing to do, obviously, if you haven't got someone to share your ideas with, it can be done on your own. But the key thing, again, is taking action. So if you want to find out what's the difference between your inner vision and your imagination, take that step and actually start to exercise with it, start to work with it, start to experiment. Just treat it as an experiment, see what happens. But if you don't take that step, you're not going to know. You know. So you really do need to take this step, and you do need to learn to trust yourself, because it will work slightly different with different people. With some people it will just be like really strong mental images. With other people you might sense something, because I believe that there's nothing special about you could say psychical abilities. I believe that they're just an extension of our normal senses. Clairvoyance, seeing beyond the physical, well actually it's just seeing in reality. The experiences that I've had, that I've been open to, I realized that it's just a normal extension